Hey, it's Jamila again from Buy Pink, and I'm back with another tutorial. I'm on my first cup of coffee, so please ignore the roughness of my appearance. But today I am going to show you how to tie-dye a shirt using just acrylics. I got this awesome box of acrylics from Plaid, and I was like, what am I gonna do with so many colors? So what I decided to do is use them for tie-dye, and it doesn't dry hard with this method. I did a lot of research, and I couldn't find a whole lot on the entire process. The only thing that I did that I would not suggest is throwing it in the dryer to dry it quicker. I got a little ink on my dryer, but it's okay because my husband doesn't use the dryer anyway. So let's get to the tutorial. Well, before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification so you can be notified of when I post a new video. Usual, the first thing you're gonna do is grab your supplies. I used a Bella canvas shirt from Jiffy Shirts, and I got these little containers from Walmart, and they're just like personal care containers. I used a cookie rack and a disposable container to sit my shirt on. I used tweezers to spiral my shirt, but I'm definitely going to do this again, and I will use something different or use a different method for my tie-dye. The tweezers didn't give it exactly the best spiral, but this was, kind of a trial run of this method using the acrylics to tie-dye. The next step we do after wrapping our shirt is mixing our vegetable glycerin, and I mixed 5 parts water to 1 part glycerin, and it seemed to work out pretty well, and that's what you see me doing here. Now we're gonna mix our colors. I chose 4 colors. You can choose however many you want to, and all I did was I squirted some in the bottle. If I had to guess, I'd say about 2 tablespoons, and I mixed with equal parts of the water glycerin mix. And the reason why I didn't mix more is because I wanted my colors to be bright and vibrant, and the more water you put, or the more of the water mixture you put in there, the more diluted your colors are. So for bright, vibrant colors, you want it runny enough for it to saturate your shirt, but you don't want it too diluted. Hopefully that makes sense. So I just basically did a 1-to-1 ratio for mine. Bottles the way I wanted them. I grabbed my little medicine dropper, and I dropped in about 2 tablespoons of the water glycerin mix to thin the colors out. And what the glycerin is supposed to do is make it so that the paint isn't hard when it dries, and this worked out very well. Vegetable glycerin in all of your bottles, you want to make sure to tightly apply the lids and shake them all up to mix. Pan in your rack, and then go ahead and put the rack over top of the pan. That way your shirt is not sitting in the color as you apply it. Shirt on top of the rack and grab your spray bottle, and you want to dampen it. I guess you could do this under the sink, but you don't want it to be saturated. You just want it to be damp enough for the colors to kind of bleed through the cotton. After you've dampened it to your satisfaction, you can go in and tie dye like normal with your colors that you just made up. You're gonna tie dye like normal. You're just gonna use the colors and pour it onto the white fabric. And you want to pour enough that it saturates. This yellow is still a little thick, but it still did not dry hard. It could have used a little bit more of the glycerin mixture, but it still turned out well. Stick around to the end for the final result. So this is where I got impatient. I stuck mine in the dryer, and here you see me cutting off the rubber bands to see how it turned out. It still turned out pretty good for, using acrylic paints for tie-dye, but you can also see where it bled some little. It's bled a little. I think it's still really cool. Um, Especially the bottom, but you can kind of see in some places where it got a little bit muddy. But all in all, I am pretty satisfied with the way it turned out. I will definitely do this again and try some different methods on getting it dry so that I don't stick it in the dryer and get color all over my dryer or end up with muddy colors in the end. I'll probably water it down a little bit more too. But this is after I pressed it.